We're sitting here at Molokai. Tomorrow's going to be the race. And I did a couple boards for this race, some 14-footers, stand-ups. It's the open ocean model that came out this season. I'm on a three-man team tomorrow with Victor Lopez and Matt Friedman. So we're going to do that. And I just did the open ocean again, but it kind of changed the bottom, did a couple little minor adjustments to it. And I've been in Maui testing it for about a week. So we'll see how it goes. So the open ocean's a square tail, it's, you know, like that. Similar bottom in the middle, single concave with some flatter panels where your feet would line up with. The Ace has got that really pinny tail and kind of more, I would just call it a paddleboard tail for low drag and everything. And then the open ocean's got that square tail with the hard edges, kind of a tucked rail. So you can actually surf it, you can step back on it, you can plane out on it. Mostly just designed for picking up bump, you know, and you need to have a tail to pick up the bump. The big bump, you know. The California race, I'll take the Ace when I'm in California, but when you come to Hawaii, you need more board. I mean, as a shaper, I see which people came from paddleboards and which ones came from windsurfing and which ones are surfers, you know, longboarders or whatever. Yeah. But it's neat, especially here because everyone comes from all over the world to do Molokai, and you can just walk around and look on the grass, and everyone's got all their newest stuff and stuff that they haven't proven yet, you know, or tested enough. And it's kind of similar with what we brought. You know, I brought an open ocean, but I did some changes, and I've got to prove that it's better than what's in production. You know, otherwise it's just going to go to a friend, and I'll start over again. California paddlers, we tend to look at point A to point B, paddle as hard as you can, and get there first. You know, and in Hawaii, if you try to draw a straight line, you're just working against the ocean. You know, and if your arms are in the water a lot, you're going to go slow. So it's all about picking the bump up and reading the bump, you know, and so it's mostly relaxing and focusing. You got to mentally be really locked into the game to get as many rides as you can. It's neat because I spent a week in Maui doing the Molokai run, which is kind of just like the perfect downwind run. And every time you do it, you kind of stumble across something like, wow, if I just got up and went left, then, you know, and got into the next bump, then the whole set of bumps would line up with me and I'd ride them all. You know, and then so you learn that one thing and then you go, oh, if I get up and fade to the right, I can go through the flat spot. And you know what I mean? So you have all these different little tidbits that you start drawing on. And I just noticed, though, just relaxing. When you're in the bump, you got to just use you're never going to out paddle the wind speed. So you got to learn how to use it. And that's why it's great to be here, because everybody comes here to try to, you know, relax and figure out how to go fast. My whole, you know, deal, and it took me a long time to kind of figure it out, is I see it as three different sets of bumps. You got these little ones, you know, when you're going across the channel, basically you're heading across the channel on the rum line, you're trying to head right to the corner, but the wind kind of blows a little bit this way. So you're always trying to kind of head to the right, you know, to keep yourself from falling down too far. And there's these little bumps that go that way, that push you back up to the right. Then you have the white caps that kind of go straight downwind, and then you have the big ground swells. And the ground swells, I don't even rarely even think about them. You know, I'm just looking for the little bumps, and then as soon as I feel a nice white cap set come through, then I just turn straight downwind and grab all those, and then scrub back up, you know, on the little ones. And I think that, like the traditional stock paddleboarders, you know, like Mikey, you know, just have mastered that, like skirting up and running down. You know, it's fun to watch. First, they were pretty round and like a blown up traditional paddleboard, you know, and we've kind of streamlined it a little bit for different conditions, you know, and trying to get the board to be more versatile in quartering conditions, you know, trying to round that rail down a little bit on the sides up front. They're very different than these piercing bows that everybody runs, you know, and I see people that, you know, they look at them and they're not, you know, they haven't tried them, and they kind of question, well, you don't get the full water line of the board, you know, but I found that just having like a spoon bow when you're in bump allows you to, you don't broach, you know, drop the bow and broach turn, and it allows you to stay further forward, and you can plow over stuff, you can skirt in between, you can do a wide stroke for stand up and have that nose turn exactly where you want it. The thing is, like when you pierce the water, you know, it's nice to have a sharp bow that cuts through the water and you appear to have less bow wave. right? Or drag or whatever you want to call it, right? And that feels good, looks good, but in a stand-up world, you've got to take that piercing bow and then it's got to somehow turn to flat to support your high height, your stroke, your weight, your shift and everything like that. And when it does that, that water that you pierced has to go somewhere. It's going to hit that flat, you know? So, and if your stroke is like this or forward, that water, you're going to have drag from that water. So if the bow is cutting deep, it's going to bring more water to that flat spot. And then you have the drag further back. And most people don't notice it, you know, or they feel like, oh, you know, whatever. You know, you can make all kinds of boards go fast beyond that. But I just like the spoon bow because I think it allows the board just to sit in a perfect flat rocker. Yes, it splashes water off the bow, but the board V dives into the ocean, and concave gives you lift. So I'm kind of more on the lifting side of things. That spoony bow gives you lift, and it feeds into the single concave, and on your upstroke, you get the glide out of it. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great guys. You know, I mean, if you look at the results from Maui or from the Molokai to Maui race, you know, obviously Connor's really fast and young, and Kalama's like just, you know, he's obviously the master of the sport. And it's a long race. Yeah. And it would be great to see, you know, Connor take it. You know, he's on a streak. But he's young, you know, so this is a long race, so we'll see how it pans out.
I really appreciate it.
No problem. Nice talking with you guys, and see you in the water.